Okay, so shall we do Remainder, which is from the novel by Tom McCarthy, featured over at Omar Fast. Tom Sturridge is a young man who, at the beginning of the film, basically the sky falls on his head, and then he has brain surgery, and when he comes out of it, he has this sort of strange mixture of amnesia and hallucination. His grip on reality is slightly tangential. He gets a huge payout from his accident, which then enables him to do pretty much what he wants to do. And what he wants to do is to reconstruct the fragmented vision of the world that he has in his head. He remembers something. He remembers a place that he thinks maybe he lived in. He remembers details from it. And so what he does is he sets about, like a director, physically directing his own life, he sets about building the world of his head in the real world. Here's a clip.
What sort of building did you have in mind?
It's old. It's a 5-story tenement house. Red brick and white windows, and the tops of the windows have curves. Inside it's like it's stuck in the 80s. And there's a bust hanging over the entrance, and underneath there's a carving that says something like Madison Gardens or Maryland Mansion. I have drawings at home, but most of the details haven't come to me yet.
Good. But tell me about the people you're proposing to fill the building with.
You can get from that the strange, sort of slightly surreal tone of the film. The two things that it reminded me of, and I'm not alone in this, I think it reminded a lot of people of these when I was watching it, was on the one hand there's a touch of Donnie Darko about it. On the other hand, there's a touch of Synecdoche, New York. You remember the film directed by Charlie Kaufman? Remember that? I don't think you. Maybe you know. I don't think you ever saw it, but he's
occasionally, sometimes, well, he's been welcome in the past.
Yeah, he has. And in that, there's this whole thing about this theatrical installation, which becomes so big that it starts to become real life. And in the case of this film, what happens is that our central character essentially builds as a set a real life version of the things that he remembers in his head, and he gets people to play the role, somebody to play the role of the woman downstairs who's always cooking liver. How do we organise it? There are cats on the roof, which is what he remembers from this particular fragmentary vision, and then the whole thing starts to become to turn into rehearsal for some kind of heist. And the interesting thing about the film is I don't think it entirely works. I mean, people have also sort of compared it to Memento because of the the idea of memory loss and only remembering certain things and cycle time. But I think what it is it was nice to see a film that was ambitious and was going to follow its single idea through to its conclusion, and wasn't scared of doing it. It wasn't a film that was frightened of the fact that what it was doing may not be immediately accessible. Very interesting soundtrack and sort of dreamy and strange to look at, and a film that I've puzzled over since seeing it. As I said, I haven't read the book, although I now have a copy of the book, which I think I will go back and read. But I thought it was interesting. Not a complete success, but a film which is ambitious and was trying to do something that I think is admirably complex, and trying to do it in a way which is fairly well played out. And so interesting and intriguing. As I said, the greatest compliment is I saw it a couple of days ago now. As we demonstrated with Independence Day, I saw it on the same day, and I can't remember whether I saw it in 3D or not. I mean, I remember almost nothing about it. This I have been thinking about ever since then.